Hello, everybody. This is Michelle Wong, Lifestyle and Financial Freedom Strategist, and today I have a fantastic special treat for you. So I have with me here today my gorgeous, sexy friend, Kitty Cavalier, who is a full-time seductress who lives in New York City, and we're going to explain a little bit more about what that means. And Kitty is also a Koya teacher, which is a form of dance that is about feeling good in your body, and it really centers around being wise, wild, and free. And most importantly, Kitty is redefining the word seduction, and especially defining it as a spiritual practice. And so it's really juicy stuff, and it's such an honor to have Kitty here. Her work is really unique, and it's such an honor to have her with us today. So thank you so much, Kitty, for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to see you.
Yeah, and so I have quite a lot of questions for you, but it's going to be super fun. I'm really excited. And so
shoot them all. I'm ready.
Good. And so when people hear the word seduction, they immediately think of, conniving, manipulative, and nothing good, really. And so, when you use the word seduction, you actually define it in a different way. So can you share a little bit of what that means for you?
Totally. Yeah, you're totally right. So seduction, as it's painted in the culture that we live in, is seen as this kind of tawdry, manipulative, evil, rooted in control kind of practice. And the one thing that is positive that's associated with seduction is that seduction gives a person a great deal of power. So when you're a seducer, when you know how to seduce a person, it comes with this understanding that that person has a great deal of power. And so my work is to restore seduction to its truest nature, which is not necessarily a form of manipulation or capitalizing on a person's vulnerabilities or necessarily even having anything to do with sex and love relationships, but it's simply seeing seduction as surrendering to the attractiveness of your authenticity.
And so
when a person is being 100% boldly, unapologetically themselves, that is one of the most attractive, sexy, gorgeous, powerful states in creation. And so that, to me, is what makes seduction a spiritual practice, because isn't it a spiritual practice to just be authentic all the time? And when we're being authentic, when we're being at our most authentic, is when we're being at our most seductive.
I love that you described it, because I forget that seduction is related to power, but especially finding the power within yourself so that you can be your most authentic self. And I think we forget that. We're taught to hide.
Yeah, or we're taught to fake it. We're taught to put on a sexy outfit and act like someone we're not. And what makes each person seductive is different from person to person. So for me, I love red lipstick and high heels. For some women, they might love Italian leather boots and no makeup and short spiky hair. And for some women, they might like something completely different. And so what makes us feel sexy and seductive is different from woman to woman. And I think that's another myth that's really important to crack, is that there is no formula to seduction. And so it's like, why even try? Just be yourself.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I think secretly every woman wants to really tap into her own sexiness, whatever that means for her. And so your work gives women permission to do so.
Totally.
Yeah. So in some of your seminars that I've attended, and you've offered a few free ones, and you actually gave a few really good examples of women who represent seduction for you. And the examples that you gave were really awesome, because when you were going to share them, I was imagining like Madonna and Marilyn Monroe, but you shared like Amelia Earhart and like Michelle Obama. And so can you explain a little bit more about why you chose those ladies versus someone Hollywood style?
Totally. So it really speaks to, like what is seduction? So sacred seduction, as I define it, is seduction that goes below the surface. It's a more long-lasting, it's kind of like the slow food movement. It's like slow seduction. Seduction, to me, is about attraction on all levels. And so, if I see a Hollywood glamazon who's fun to look at and who I know their personality based on what their publicist has chosen to release about them, that gives me a certain level of trust with them, a certain level of understanding with them, but it doesn't necessarily seduce me because I don't know that person. Whereas someone like Amelia Earhart, who was such a pioneer and had such a boldness and was such a risk taker and a change maker, Eleanor Roosevelt, who was First Lady of the world and who just did not let any of the confines of patriarchal structure of politics hold her back from her cause of human rights. Like these are women who had enormous influence over the change in the world and the institution of our history as a culture. And so to me, those women are extremely seductive. They have extreme power and the ability to captivate millions and millions of people for hundreds and hundreds of years, which to me is a much more potent form of seduction than simply a perfectly applied lip gloss.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Yes, my body's like tingling as you say that because it's almost like, it takes guts to do that, and they do it so well. And so I love that you say you're taking it deeper, it's beyond the surface. And so, oh, that's so good. Yeah.
Yeah. I like making you tingle.
Thank you. So I first met you at Mama Gina's School of Womenly Arts through the Mastery Program, and I saw you perform burlesque, and I was so blown away just by how you loved your body. And before that, I never witnessed burlesque before, and so you do such a great job because, like, I didn't know what to expect, and I was in awe of you and just your boldness of being on stage and just you loving yourself. And that's what I was so attracted to. And so can you share a little bit more about what got you into burlesque, and if you can share the message about, body and self-love?
Totally. So yes, we did meet at Mama Gina's School of Womenly Arts, and so my story with burlesque, for anyone who's watching who's never seen a burlesque show before, burlesque is a form of entertainment that today is characterized by a woman doing a striptease. And it's a little different than what you would see in like a traditional strip club, where in a strip club the focus is more about, becoming the object of the audience's desire, where in burlesque, it's really driven by the performer's desire. And so when I perform burlesque, I perform it as really a tribute to my body. So I grew up with an eating disorder and really hating my body and really renouncing anything having to do with the sensual. I certainly did not grow up, saying, what do you want to be when you grow up? Oh, I want to be a seduction teacher. That was not my reality. And hi, Winnie. Here's my dog. This is Winnie.
Hi, Winnie.
And so burlesque is something that when I first went to a burlesque show, it completely changed my life, because a burlesque performer, she doesn't necessarily wait to conform into some, stereotypical idea of what a woman should look like. She shows up and she owns herself, and what makes a burlesque performer most captivating is not necessarily her costume or her dance abilities, but it is her ownership of her creativity and her body and her willingness to just flaunt whatever she is and whatever she has. And so when I first started going to burlesque shows here in New York, I had never experienced that. I had never been around that. The only experiences I had really had with naked bodies were women at the gym who, we were all trying to hide what we were so desperately trying to get rid of when we were working out, after our shower. And so to see women like really just kind of taking their quote unquote flaws and flaunting them. Joe Boobs Weldon, who is the owner of the New York School of Burlesque, one of her favorite, my favorite quotes of hers is, "Whatever your flaws are, flaunt them." And that really changed my life. And that really is what burlesque is to me. I do burlesque now as more of a hobby than, you know, I mean, I never really did it as a profession, but just as kind of a creative outlet. But, you know, whenever I perform burlesque, it gives me that restoration that I don't have to wait a single second to feel sexy or change a thing. I am sexy because of who I am. And that is really the transformation that informed my understanding of seduction as a spiritual practice.
I love that. And especially like when I have seen burlesque performances, and there are some women who are like, you know, totally skinny and they're beautiful, but I find that sometimes they're less connected versus, you know, the more full-bodied woman who is totally in love with herself. Like, I'm attracted to that. Like, that's what I like when a woman's turned on.
Yeah, and, you know, for a thinner, like, you know, I think that, you know, just because, like, I want to be careful not to, like, shame any body type.
Right.
Because even thinner women, you know, like, sorry, my dog is like, "I am being this interview, Mom, whether you like it or not. Stop trying to push me away." You know, like, I think that the quality that we find so attractive about burlesque is that it demonstrates a woman's ability to take everything that the culture teaches her is wrong and shameful and just put it out there and basically be like, "F you," you know, like, I love myself. And also that her performance is for herself rather than just trying to earn the audience's approval.
I really like what you said about her performance is for herself. I think that's such a gold nugget. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you are coming to Seattle.
I am. I'm so excited. I've never been to Seattle, but I have like so many friends who live there, and I've gotten like close to Seattle. I feel like there's a chance I could move there, Michelle.
Oh my gosh. We're going to have to work on that.
Like, I might just fall in love with it. I know. You're going to have to seduce me.
Yes. Oh, that'll be awesome. Yeah, so you're going to come during the weekend of April 4th through the 6th, and you're leading a retreat called Seduction Experience. And actually, I didn't read too much about it. I just signed up for it because, you know, you're here in person live, and so I signed up for it. So can you explain a little bit more about what to expect during your weekend retreat, and, you know, who would the event be good for?
Totally. So the Seduction Experience, basically what it is a 3-day experience. So I really like to emphasize that word, because the thing about seduction is that, especially the type of seduction that we're talking about in this interview, this sacred seduction, is that it's not necessarily something that can be taught. So it's not like I can get a person into a room and be like, "Do this, do this, do this," and you'll be seductive. Seduction is something that comes from within us, and it's something that is informed and led by our experiences of ourselves as seductive beings. And so the design of the weekend is as a retreat to lead you through exercises, games, movement, rituals, history lessons, you know, redefinitions, ceremonies, all different sorts of surprises to allow a woman to be honored and feel herself as seductive, as exactly who she is. Wow. And after having an experience like that, you are then able to go out into the world, and, you know, of course there will be, you know, tools and exercises and ideas and techniques that are shared to bring that part of yourself out into the world. But after having an experience like that, you know, it comes from your body, your soul, your senses, and so therefore it's yours for the rest of time. Mm-hmm. It's not something that is dependent on you being in a conference room or you know, but a W hotel, so at least it's a sexy conference room. It's not something dependent on you, like subscribing to a certain set of rules or being in a certain place, but it's locating a place that already exists within inside of you.
That is super juicy.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait.
I know, I'm so excited.
And so is there like an age range for people who can come, or any age range?
18 to 800. Really,
Oh, I love
for
it.
any woman who is seeking to get to know herself as a sacred, seductive being, this is an experience for you.
Awesome. Okay, so between the ages of 18 through 100, so everyone is welcomed. And so this might relate back to your previous answers, but what's your overall like mission and vision of your purpose and your goals?
So I was watching an interview or a webinar recently with our mutual friend Kate Northrup, and she was talking about how, of all the products and books and everything that she sells, what she sells is inspiration. And for me, my mission, what I sell or what I wish to provide for women, is really a sense of validation. Because for so many of us, we go through our lives wondering if we're doing it right, and always thinking that there's some better way to be doing it, or some better goal to achieve, or some better version of our body that we should be in, or some better version of our life. And the game of seduction is, again, it's about surrendering to who you are. And that a woman who is surrendered to who she is, to what she wants, to being able to say yes and no to the things that she wants and doesn't want with complete ease and lack of apology, to build her life around her senses and what lights her up, and have every morning be different, whether she wakes up dancing to Tina Turner or she wakes up and goes and eats the ripest strawberry in the box, that she's led by that which seduces her. And so my mission is not, I sometimes hesitate to say my mission is to teach anything, because I'm not really teaching women how to do anything. What I am is validating what their body and soul and feminine spirit already knows how to do.
Oh my gosh, that was beautiful. I loved how you described that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And so I'm super excited that you're coming to Seattle. And so for those of you who are excited as well, she's going to be here on the weekend of April 4th through the 6th. And she's going to be holding her Seduction Experience Retreat. And I've already registered. I would love to see you there. And Kitty's work is truly powerful, unique, and beautiful. And it's so needed, and it's become. Definitely check it out. I've included a link below, and you can read more about it, and she offers a lot of juicy stuff on her website too. So thank you so much, Katie, for being here and for sharing your time with us today.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I get to meet you at the experience, and I can't wait to see you and give you a big smooch, Michelle.
Me too. Here, thanks so much.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Mwah.
Ready.
Awesome. Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our awesome video. I'm going to start again.
Okay, pause. I need to get my little phone out of the back.
Okay.
Oh my God, this is so fun. I feel like we're 16.